So I put the Hawkwing awning on now, right way around. Now if you notice, there's quite a gap running between the awning base and the roof rack base. It's adjustable, obviously. You can sort of bring it out as far as you want, or you can take it in as far as you want. If it was myself and I was going to take it on a trip on holiday, I'd want it as waterproof and weatherproof as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adjust the bolts that keep the rail in place, and I'm going to push the rail back so that when the awning is opened up, you won't see much of a gap under there. Similarly, if you wanted to have it as the best surface area as possible coming out, because don't forget it comes out 2.5 meters out of the top of the car or the van or whatever it is, motorhome. But if you want it the greatest surface area, like further than 2.5 meters, there's nothing to say or nothing to stop you from bringing those roof rails out even further. I'm sure that the weight of those roof rails, you could sort of drive up to wherever you're going and bring those roof rails out another foot at least, so your awning essentially starts here or there, and then it would move out from there, giving you up to 3 meters really in space to come out. But we'll see it in action in a minute when we Hawkwing awning. You can see the looking from the top of the awning here. 1, 2, 4 segments coming around. Got the tailgate open at the back there. Comes out about 2.5 meters. Fully waterproofed. Great spec product really, and great value for money. And you can see where each of the hinges at the top there sort of spins around. So as you assemble the awning, as you fold it out, you really need to hold these poles here. You need 4 of them here, obviously. It's best as a 2-man job. I tried it just on my own and at times failed miserably, but I'm sure you can do it with the best laid plans. So now on the poles, I'll show you in a second, but you've got 2 ends to the pole basically, and you sort of twist and lock the poles. There's a shorter spike and there's a longer spike. The longer, thinner spike goes through the top, and it goes through the sort of eyelet at the top as well. And the shorter one goes through spikes into the floor or wherever you're going to put it into. You see it's protruding out the top of the hinge there. Same on that one there as well. So like I say, it's best as a 2-man job, because what you don't want is you don't want to pull each section out and leave it hanging, because it puts strain on the joints and has been known to twist and buckle the hinges at the end there. So 2-man job. The first person can hold the poles, and the second person can walk around and he just sticks the poles in as he walks around. I'll just show you what happens as you pull it out. So as you're pulling each section of the awning out, first pole comes across here, and then you put the pole in there, and then as you do it, it'll be quite baggy actually to start with, and I'll show you why and what you should do about it. So it's quite baggy to start with, and then you put the penultimate one there, and then you put the last one here. Now as you put the last one in, this is one of the key ones really. You put the spike in the top, and now you'll see the hinge there. Now in hindsight, when I sort of erected this, it's best to pull the cover over as far as you can to give you more leeway on that hinge, because ideally you want the hinge to be in line with the tailgate or the boot or the rack or whatever it is. And you can see here mine's at a bit of an angle. It's because I've got strain on the actual cover. But they give you this strap, and it's a brilliant idea. So what you do is, as you're pulling this out, what I did is pulled it out as far as I could go at the time, which wasn't as far as this. It was a bit further, a bit more of an acute angle, still quite baggy, and I just got this strap and I put it around there and I strapped it onto the rack, which then enabled me to walk back around the Hawkwing, go to the first section again, which was quite baggy, and just pull it a bit further, and then go to the next one and pull that a bit further, and pull this a bit further. And what it does is it loosens it a little bit, and then you come back down to the last pole, and holding the last pole with one hand, you can actually pull tight with the strap. You can just pull it a little bit further, obviously not too hard, because you don't want to break the hinge or snap the pole. But you tend to know the tolerances as you pull it anyway. If you pull it with your hand, you'll feel the tolerances, and then you sort of strap it around there. You can do that several times. I've done it several times until I got to the point where it's as flat as I would like it. There are areas in the Hawkwing here where you can stick an extra pole. Fortunately, it doesn't come in the kit, but you could probably stick another pole on there, which would then go on top of this extra spike, which would make it extra stable all the way around. However, you don't really need it, to be honest with you. I mean, if you were to pull up on here, obviously we've pulled up on stony ground, but if you were to pull up on a grassy place or wherever, you could just put the spikes in there, and you could put the guide ropes in here. I've put my makeshift stones and rocks by a lakeside onto my guide rope here, there and there, and another one round there. And so you would hammer those down as well, and you would put these into the ground, and that would just give you enough stability that you need anyway. And to be fair, if you pulled up somewhere where it was really windy, I'd, as a disclaimer, really would say not to put it out. When we first got these awnings, we erected one down at our previous warehouse, and we learned that lesson. And as the awning was flying around everywhere, but in this case we're in a nice secluded area here, gentle breeze, and that's what you want really, because you're only going to use these awnings on times and periods when it's going to be beautiful sunshine and you can escape. And the beauty is obviously, like, you can open the front door, you can open the boot, somebody can walk out. You can open the tailgate here and somebody could be sat on the tailgate, sat in the boot. You could operate from the back, fold out table. You see, I'm stood here a good 1.5 meters, 2 meters from the tailgate, and I'm still just under the awning. So brilliant, really good bit of kit here. Now you remember I mentioned before about putting it as far under as you can. There I sort of put it a bit further under, on top of the rack. I put the brackets down there just so I lessen the gap. I mean, the gap previously was a lot wider, but this one I've lessened the gap. But really I've made a mistake here, which is good to film actually, just to show that this is a potential mistake you could make. That when you're driving with it on the car, you can see it's a nice distance if you were to pack it up just over the tailgate. So that it's kind of equal enough from the tailgate to just hovering above the windscreen, if you can see it there in line with the windscreen. Now obviously while you're driving, if you bring it too far forward, it's going to look silly over the end of the windscreen. So it's quite a nice distance there equally for driving around, for transport and so on. However, this is some advice I'd like to give if you want to make it as sort of waterproof and as protected from the elements or sun or whatever it is as possible, is that once you moor up wherever you are, is sort of get these brackets on the back of the awning there. Can you see them? And when you sort of loosen the bolts and slide the whole awning that way, because you see here we've got this sort of large gap. But it'd be nicer if it'd be more beneficial if the edge of the awning actually came to somewhere like here. So we're looking at sort of like another 7 inches, something like that, toward the front. So obviously that's better when done when you moor up, you park up somewhere you're setting it all up, and you can just move it forward, and it'd be lovely that this would be seamless. You could have like a cover going from over the tailgate all the way around to potentially over the... So just to finalise really on the Hawkwing awning, perfect fit on the Discovery 2, on the roof rack of course. But any car with rails, with raised rails, you know, the traditional styles raised rails with a gap underneath, with those kind of fittings, the Hawkwing will just fit straight on, perfect. And to set it up, initial setup was probably about 20 minutes, half an hour at the most, and then to actually erect it and to put it in place, for one man job it was probably about 10 minutes at the most, so two-man job be less than that. Although I'd imagine you're not in a hurry when you're using a Hawkwing awning anyway, are you? So yeah, brilliant. We've got special offers on these, and buy one now.